Let's just pretend. We'll go back in time for a second. Oh, he's biting my Kindle. Silly. Oh, but I have been reading, rest assured. My timer has been going. I like the Story Wizard Academy. I don't like the bully romance. I don't like everything about me invites you in. My voice, my face, even my smell. Probably the longest I have done and like stayed with the 24-hour reading challenge like ever. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. Welcome to a very exciting reading vlog. I love reading challenges and I feel like since I'm trying to finish a lot of books since the year is coming to a close, I wanted to try out one more challenge before the end of the year. We are going to doing the 24-hour reading challenge. This is, I believe, my third time doing this challenge. Basically, I am going to be using the timer method, at least to start. Like, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna do it like straight through once we get to like the 12-hour mark or something like that. For the most part, I'm going to be doing the timer method. I am going to set a timer on my phone for 24 hours, and whenever I pick up my books to read it, I am going to start it, and then when I stop, I will stop it. We're going to see how many books I can read in 24 hours. I actually already started this timer last night doing a thumbnail for another Bookmas video. I was listening to the audiobook of our first book, Love Light Farm. It's actually a book that I read in our Christmas books video, so I talked about it a lot more there. I only had like maybe like 50 more pages left, so I decided to start my timer when I was listening to those last 50 pages. You can go back to that video if you want a full wrap up of all my thoughts, but I did like this one. I think I ended up giving it like a 4 stars. It was cute, it was good. I liked the writing. I feel like it was more, I don't know, like professional is not the right word, but it wasn't like conversational writing. If I was listening to this on the audiobook, I would really have to like focus because it's not how I normally talk, the way that this author talks. It is a love story between two best friends, and I thought it was cute and I thought it was Christmassy. Then I actually kept going with our timer and I started another book on our December TBR, which is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. So this is a book that is actually on my December TBR, and when I was looking up Christmas books to read during this time, this one came up, and I don't think I've ever read a Christmas mystery, so I decided to try this one out. And basically it's like as if Clue and Then There Were None by Agatha Christie and also The Inheritance Games all combined into one book. I continued my timer while I was listening to the audiobook and reading this book, and now we have 17 hours and 17 minutes left. Wow, I stopped that at 17:17. I didn't even realize. So that means we have, in between finishing this book and getting to page 125 in this book, we have used up about 7 hours, which seems actually kind of long for me. but I don't know, I've been listening to this audiobook a lot on my commutes. I feel like sometimes I listen to audiobooks, like the audiobook is slower than I read, so that results in it being like a little bit longer to finish than if I was just reading it. I do like to listen to these murder mystery type books on audiobook just because I feel like I naturally, I don't know what is wrong with me, but if there is like a cliffhanger, I will like skip ahead to the next 2 pages to make sure that things are okay before closing the book. And I kind of like slightly spoil some things for myself. And with audiobooks, you can't do that because I can't possibly look ahead. I have been using the audiobook a little bit more, which I think is why it's taken me a little bit more to get through this. We are following in the point of view of Lily. There's this big house that they call the Endgame house. And it is very much like Clue because this is our little map that we get in the beginning of the book. And then this is our family tree of all of our characters. They all come to this house and their aunt, who just passed, leaves a bunch of clues for her like nieces and nephews and sons and daughters to find. And whoever finds the most keys gets to open the secret room. And in the secret room is like the deed to the Endgame house, which it's a really big mansion. They turned it into a hotel, but it is a really big mansion, so whoever wins the game gets to keep the Endgame house. But how many will die before the 12th night? And we have already had 1 or 2 murders. Stakes are getting higher, and Lily has some secrets that she's keeping from the rest of her family. It's a very like sort of like tentative relationship with a lot of her family members. She moved out to New York City and sort of forgot about Endgame house. It's coming back, and all these new things are coming up. And also her mom passed away at Endgame house like years ago, so that's also bringing up the memories. And actually the main reason that she's coming to Endgame house to participate in this game is not because she wants the house, but because Liliana, her aunt who passed and made this whole game, actually sent her a private letter that said that the clues to her mother's murder will be revealed also during this game. And Lily had always thought her mother died by a different way than a murder, if you know what I mean. So that's what intrigued her, and that's why she is coming to Endgame house. But that is what this book is about. It is an interesting storyline. I feel like because there are so many characters, it is a little bit hard to listen to an audiobook to like keep all the characters straight without being able to like turn to the family tree. So I think I'm gonna read a little bit more of this book now. We're gonna see if we can get through a December TBR during this 24-hour reading vlog. I would be very interested too. Also, this is very much like inheritance games as well, like I said, because it also has a lot of different riddles and anagrams and stuff within the notes that Aunt Liliana has left for her family. So I feel like that's like a very inheritance games vibe, which I like. Hello everyone, good morning. I am still in my Christmas pajamas. This video will be going up after Christmas, I think. We're still before Christmas when we're filming this, so we have our Christmas bed spread and pillows. We're talking about Christmas books. Let's just pretend. We'll go back in time for a second. Okay, so hello, long time no talk. Here to update you on our 24-hour reading vlog. I have had this timer going for so long because I've been ill. I've been so sick that I've just been sleeping. You can probably hear it in my voice. All day. I have not had a chance to read too much more, but we are 12 hours and 38 minutes left to go. We are going to try and finish it day because I'm finally feeling better. Like I can get out of this bed. And here's little Coda. And I'm ready to get into some reading. First, I wanted to say that I did finish The Christmas Murder Game. Again, let's pretend that it's Christmas again. Okay, just pretend. So Coda's gonna do something with my laptop. Here. I gave this book, I think, like a 3.5 stars. I really liked it. I think it was a good thriller. There was one of the reveals. My stomach dropped. Like, it's that feeling that you get when you, like, realize something and you're like, stomach dropped. My brain felt fuzzy. Like, I was just like, oh my god. Like, I kind of was expecting it or, like, thinking that this might be a thing. Just, like, the reveal and the way that she wrote it was perfect. I loved it so much. It's very And Then There Were None mixed with the Inheritance games, honestly, because I think I said that before. They have a bunch of riddles they have to solve, and our main character is, of course, very good at riddles. You don't have to read it just during Christmas. I think it's just a good thriller overall. And what I liked about it is the author actually included the game within the Christmas Murder Game, which is basically like the reader can find anagrams within each chapter. So I think that's kind of fun. We moved right in. Look at my new book sleeve. Is that so cute? I love it. We moved right into our next read, which is Hopeless. Last book in the Chestnut Spring series, and I think it would be awesome to just be able to finish 2024 having completely finished the Chestnut Spring series. I'm only on chapter, let me see, I've actually been reading it a lot on my Kindle because it is on Kindle Unlimited. And like I said, I've just been ill in bed, so it's a lot easier to hold your Kindle in bed than it is to hold the physical book. I'm on chapter 9. It's not like my favorite setup so far. It's about Beau and Bailey, and there is like an age gap. I think it's like a 12 to 13 year age gap. Heartless, which is my favorite book in the Chestnut Spring series, was also like a 13-year age gap. So I love a good age gap, like a tastefully done age gap, but I don't know. I'm not as far into this one, I guess, to be able to say too much about it. Bailey is the daughter of the Jansons, the rivals to the Eaton boys throughout the whole Chestnut Spring series, the villains of Chestnut Springs. She's trying to make it out, she's trying to make her own name for herself, but she always has this like stigma attached to her based on like, you know, who people know her family is. Beau is the oldest, right? I think he's the second oldest Eaton brother, and he is a war vet, so he has a lot of PTSD dealing with from the war. He had some like injuries. He tries to hide behind this like happy mask like he is in the rest of the books. What is he doing behind me? You see like the sort of turn of events that the war sort of changed him, and you see like that he's not as okay as he makes everyone seem. And Bailey is the same, where she's like, don't put on that mask around me. Like, it's honestly kind of insulting if you do that. Like, I want to see the real you type thing. And it is a fake fiance trope, and that's not a spoiler because it literally says it in the title page. A small town fake dating romance. There is like an element of insta-love in it, which I don't love. I just feel like it's fast, and I feel like I want to hear more about Bailey and Beau before we get into like the romance elements of it. And we're only on chapter 9, and it's already like the fiance thing's happening. They're already pretending, which is cool, but they've already like alluded to not pretending, and it's like, it just seems fast to me. So I hope that Elsie can turn it around. I did know that this one is not like, does not have the best ratings of all the Chestnut Spring series, so we'll see. What are you? Oh, he's my pen. He was messing with my pen that entire time. Long time no chat. Update you on our reading challenge, our 24-hour reading challenge. We now have only a little bit over 5 hours left to our reading challenge. Let me get the books that we finished, because we did finish another book. We did finish Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series, so that means we also fully finished the Chestnut Spring series. Thank you very much. That took a year or maybe a little bit more. I have been reading other series along with it. I really do love Elsie Silver's books. She's one of my must-read, must-buy authors. We got halfway through another book, and also another book because I have been ill the past week. Like, it's been Christmas week and I've been ill the past week. It's just been a lot, so that's why I haven't updated you, but I have been reading, rest assured. My timer has been going. Hopeless, I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 because it is, or maybe a 4.25 because it is an Elsie Silver book. It is a Chestnut Springs book, and I just love those books in general. But I feel like one of the least popular books in the Chestnut Springs series, and I think the reason is because I'm just not really super connected to the relationship. I feel like it happened kind of fast, but it is a fake engagement, so it is gonna happen kind of fast. Coda's looking at me like, who are you talking to? It is a story of Beau, our last Eaton brother, and Bailey, who is the baby sister of the Jansons, who has always been their sort of a rival that lives across the river from them, the Eaton boys. This girl that's from like the wrong side of the tracks, or from a bad family, quote unquote, is dating like the golden Eaton boy, and a lot of the town has a lot to say and a lot of thoughts about that. Also, her brothers are just super destructive and super mean and rude and annoying, and she's been constantly trying to come out of the shadow that her brothers set on her. Her last name has just had nothing but bad for her. Things come very hard to Bailey. No one hires her. So he decides that, hey, I need something to make me feel again. This is a fun little undercover mission. He was like an undercover like army guy, and he lets be fake fiancés. Maybe if I change your last name because you say your last name has all this baggage around and people treat you differently because you have a last name, maybe if I change your last name then you'll have better luck. So that's how it starts. Bailey's like, sure, got nothing else to lose, and Beau is like so numb, he just wants to feel something, so he decides to do this. Dynamic is very interesting. She's 22, he's 35, so there is an age gap, and she's very much like, she's sort of like more inexperienced, and she sort of says these things that like shocks Beau, and it's like a whole part of her shtick. She's like, I love shocking him, I love saying things that are out of pocket to him. Then he just looks at her like exasperatedly, and then there's so much tension that builds up that when they finally do have that declaration, it is very good. I loved that part. They're just also very isolated. Like, we didn't see too much of the other family, of the rest of the family in this book. It was really just Beau and Bailey, which is fine because they're the main couple, but I feel like even in the other Chestnut Springs books, we got a lot more of the side characters that we have known and loved over this whole series. Like, I feel like if anything, this is the last book, so Elsie would have included more of the side characters that we've known and loved throughout reading her whole entire series, but there was really hardly any of them, and I feel like that was definitely a con for me. So that was our next book that we finished, which is like, what, 3 or 4? We're doing pretty good. Read a little bit of this book, Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae. This is the second book in the Zodiac Academy series. I'm actually listening to the graphic audio version of this, and I'm on page 68. I feel like the graphic audio version is just so interesting because I love the story, but the guy characters annoy me, and I said this in a lot of my other videos. I like the story of Zodiac Academy. I don't like the bully romance. I don't like the male main characters. I don't know how these authors are going to change my mind about male main characters, but listening to it on graphic audio makes it better because it is a very interesting story, a very interesting world, very interesting magic system. So all those like sound effects and everything makes it more like a movie. And I feel like it's easier for me to get through when I'm listening to it. It's the point of view of our two sisters. It is getting a little more interesting where after the mass events that happened in the last book, it's sort of a crossroads, like, do we leave or do we stay and keep dealing with this torture, basically. So that's sort of what they're battling with right now. They have made a decision. I won't say anything, but I think from the fact this is a massively long series, you know what the decision has been. And then we actually dove into Midnight Sun on my Kindle, and I also have the hardcover version, but this book is so big, and and obviously it's reading, like, I've been seeing this thing on TikTok where it's like people are complaining about how many words are on a page. Like, I'm not complaining that there are so many words on the page, I'm just complaining that there are a lot of words on the page. So like, it's kind of hard to hold and read, you know? So I've been reading it more on my Kindle. It does take a while to get through. I'm only like 52% of the way, 53% of the way through in a 47-minute long chapter. So these chapters are long and dense, and Edward's prose is just very dense. But yeah, you know the story of Twilight, you know Midnight Sun. I just kind of really want to get through this last book so I can say that I have done it, because it has been on my TBR for so long. At the part where that infamous line of like, this is the skin of a killer, Bella, that is about to happen. It's just kind of fun to be able to dive back into Forks, because that was such a huge cultural phenomenon in like high school or whatever it was, and to be able to like just dive back into it in 2024 is kind of crazy but kind of fun as well. I think I'm gonna stick more with Midnight Sun and then move into Zodiac Academy. It's happening, y'all. And knowing all of like the cringe TikToks because of this scene, I can't read it seriously. Everything about me invites you in. My voice, my face, even my smell. As if I would need any of that. Good morning, friends. Okay, so I wanted to update you. I'm eating lunch right now. Well, breakfast, lunch. Listen, it's between Christmas and New Year's. I feel like the time between Christmas and New Year's like doesn't count. I don't have you on a tripod right now. You're on my like books. I have gotten so lazy with pulling out my tripod and just, I don't know. I've just been using so many things as tripod. I only have 10 minutes and 30, what is that, 6 seconds left of our 24-hour reading challenge. Actually, the reason why it looks like it's like a fresh new timer is because I lost my other timer. You know, like, I don't know why this happens, but randomly my phone, oh, you know, I know why, because it pops up on your screen, like on your lock screen, and there's like a play button and an X button, and I mean to press the play button, and without failing, there's always a time when I press the X button, and my timer's just gone. I luckily recorded remembered what I was at, because I always now that I know I do that, I take note of like what my timer is when I turn it off. My phone was charging, so I've been using a stopwatch on my laptop for my reading that I've done this morning, and then it was an hour and 39 minutes this morning. Ooh, see, this is what happens when I don't use it. So then I subtracted it from my overall total, which was like an hour and 49 minutes, and I only have 10 minutes left. And I have been reading Midnight Sun, actually. Oh. YouTube is on in the back for my ambiance video. Midnight Sun, which is so crazy because this book is like not popular anymore right now, but it was on my 24 books that I want to read in 2024 because it has been on my TBR for so long. So I just decided to randomly pick it up. We're on chapter 23, which is page 523. We're almost done. This is definitely gonna take me longer to read than just 10 minutes, obviously, because I have this much left. But I wanted to update you a little bit. That's what we're doing, and that's how we're gonna be finishing out our timer. If you look on my Goodreads, I started this back like literally 5 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago, and I've just been putting it down, picking it back up, and then like I hit a stride yesterday where I got to the actual parts that I thought was like semi-interesting, because like I know the Twilight stories, so I'm not like super invested in his point of view or their story because I know the story. I want to get this book off my TBR, so we're finishing it. And Stephenie Meyer does have like decent writing, I will say, in this. There are some good quotes. Alright, friends, we did it. We're on page 550. Probably the longest I have done and like stayed with the 24-hour reading challenge like ever. This took me before Christmas, like a week before Christmas, maybe even 2, and I just kept on having this timer going. I was determined to finish it, and we did. We finished our 24-hour reading vlog. It is now December 30th, so that definitely took so long, but we did it. We're done, and we read, I think it was like 4 books. This was such a long book to get through. I feel like I could have read another book in the time that it took me to just get through more of this book, because I did get through like almost more than half of this book, I feel like, in this challenge. But then we'll get our other books that we finished and we'll do our final little discussion. Okay, so I have a feeling this video is so long already. I'm just gonna go quickly through these. The books we finished are Lovelight Farms, The Christmas Murder Game, and Hopeless. And I have to say, Hopeless was definitely my favorite of the 3 books that we finished. Midnight Sun, I feel like, is oddly nostalgic for me. I mean, not oddly, it's like obviously nostalgic for me. I feel like Hopeless was my favorite book in this challenge, because I can move on to the next Elsie series that I want to read. I feel like I like the dynamic, but I wasn't as connected to them as I am in some other Elsie books, but it was still my favorite. And then The Christmas Murder Game, this is a new author that I had never read before. It was really fun to read a thriller about in the Christmas holiday season. I would recommend it. And then we have Lovelight Farms. We finished a series in Hopeless, and then we started another interconnected series by B.K. Borison. It's a romance book, it's a friends to lovers, and I feel like it was good. I feel like it didn't super catch my attention like other romance books did, but it was definitely Christmassy. It definitely put me in the spirits, and I did read it before Christmas because, like I said, I started this video before Christmas. But then, of course, we read even more Midnight Sun. I'm at the part now where they're trying to lead him away, and the ballet studio scene is about to happen. You get like a lot of the other like vampires' powers, obviously, because Edward can read all their minds, so you get a lot more of them and like the Cullen family and how their powers work and everything that was going on that you didn't see in Twilight, which is the point of this book, but I thought it was fun. That is gonna be it from me today. Thank you so much for staying with me for this 24-hour reading challenge. It was definitely my longest one to date. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!